Welcome to the 2020 Wild Card Series. It is presented by Hankook Tire, and you are looking at Dodger Stadium, where tonight the Brewers will attempt to stay alive in this Wild Card Series after losing last night to the home team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Been the best team all season. They were really good last night. Remember, they gave Mookie Betts 12 years and $365 million. Well, he had a couple of doubles. He got the action rolling for that Los Angeles offense. Walker Buehler was locked in using that fastball, his curveball, and then that one mistake made it an exciting game, 3-2, until Corey Seager rebuilt and reloaded as he unloaded the longest home run in Dodger Stadium history under StatCast. Kenley Jansen got Christian Yelich to end it. Brewers had him where they wanted. They had Yelich up with a chance, but instead it's Los Angeles 4 and the Brewers 2, and they take game 1. The bracket looks like this. The Cardinals currently on ESPN leading the Padres 6-2. If they win, they move on. The Marlins and Cubs are rained out today, and the Atlanta Braves shut out the Reds 2 straight games. Cincinnati pitched well. They didn't score any runs, and the Braves are moving on. So we'll see what happens tonight. Will it be Clayton Kershaw moving on or Christian Yelich and company forcing a game 3? The 2020 Wild Card Series is presented by Hankook Tire. Never halfway. We got Tim Kurkjian right here in the studio with me. I'm Carl Ravitch. Eduardo Perez joining us as well. It has been a storied career, no doubt about it, for Clayton Kershaw. If you flip through the chapters, though, they're not all great, and the great ones generally don't involve the playoffs.
Right, but he has had a really good season. His velocity is up, and he is one of the greatest pitchers of all time, won 3 Cy Young Awards, and he has the lowest ERA of any pitcher since 1920 with 1,500 or more innings, but he has the highest ERA of any pitcher that's thrown 100 innings in the postseason. He has, however, been exceptional in postseason games when the Dodgers have a chance to clinch, as they do tonight. He's 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA.
And he's a little rested, obviously, with what happened with this season, not starting and being only 60 games. That arm has got a lot more bullets in it, perhaps, than it has in years past. Eduardo, look, they're trying to piecemeal it. It's patchwork. If this were any other sport, the Brewers would not have much of a chance. But it's baseball, so you explain why they do tonight.
Well, it's Brandon Woodruff that's on the mound, and he's going to have to control a great offense in the L.A. Dodgers. We know all about that. But Brandon Woodruff is not looking at what the L.A. Dodgers can do. He's looking at what he can do. And in the last start against the Cardinals, he pitched really well, 8 innings pitched. He started 13 games this season. He was their opening day starter. He did really well in 9 of those games. And his job right now is to try to replicate what he did last week and pass it to this guy right here, Josh Hader, that at times can be unhittable. This lefty's velocity might not be what it was last year, the year before, but this year the slider is working to perfection, and they'll need him to go maybe 1 or 2 innings to try to get a win and save their season till tomorrow.
Well, the stars are out. Christian Yelich, one of 4 former MVPs that will be on the field tonight. If Ryan Braun were playing, we would have had 5. The Wild Card Series presented by Hankook Tire, never halfway. And in part by Corona Hard Seltzer, another way to find your beach. Looks like Seager's done that. He's laying down and chilling out before we get set for the first pitch. The likes of which, as far as players and personnel and MVPs, we rarely get a chance to see. Let's do it. Brewers, Dodgers, next. T-Mobile is your ticket to the game. It's time to dig into tonight's key game insights for the fans at home. And rather than be at home, we're going all the way to Dodger Stadium where Alden Gonzalez is. And the secret here, it could be Austin Barnes to Clayton Kershaw's success. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Carl, nothing's ever going to duplicate the chemistry that Clayton Kershaw previously had with A.J. Ellis, but this has sort of evolved into a close second. This is now 6 years that these two guys have been working together, and it's become an exclusive pairing, which is pretty surprising given the year that Will Smith has had behind the plate. But Clayton really likes working with him. He says that him and AJ are pretty similar, except that he could joke around with Austin Barnes a little bit more than he used to be able to with AJ. And simply put, Austin has allowed this to happen because he's done a lot better job of getting on base this season. And the man that he credits for being a better hitter this year, guess who it is? It's actually Mookie Betts.
Really? That is interesting.
Yep.
Barnes has caught 9 of the 10 games that Kershaw has started. The ERA in those games this year, 186, and a whip of 081, 59 strikeouts, and 6 walks. All the numbers for Kershaw through those 10 starts, I just gave you some of them. They're the best they've been, and again, it may have to do with the fact that he's not pitching with an arm that's got so many innings on it. His velocity is as good as it's been in a long, long time.
He's really changed the way he's gone about things. He's thrown his fastball 41% of the time. That's the lowest rate of his career. And the breaking ball 59% of the time. That's the highest rate.
Yeah. So we'll start it out. Last night it was Yelich batting leadoff. They switched. Now it's Avisail Garcia. And the first pitch from Clayton, a little high, ball 1.
Yeah, and one other thing that Clayton did also during the offseason, he went to Driveline and to try to get those hitters that were trying to catch up to that fastball, worked on his body, better kinesiology, and so far it's worked for him. And Tim, you're right, he's using that off-speed pitch a lot more this season than in the past.
Ravi, it is unusual for a guy in his 10th season to have the velocity go up, and it's part because he's a great athlete and nobody works harder than that guy.
I was going to say, the other unusual part is he goes and does something like Driveline. A lot of guys this late in their careers, they're not thinking about doing something like that. And there he is trying to cement himself as one of the greatest pitchers that we've ever seen.
Right. He's pitched in 10 postseasons. No one's ever pitched in 10 different postseasons without winning a World Series. That's what he's looking at this year.
Ahead 1-2. And there it is, strikeout number 1 for Clayton Kershaw, caught by his buddy Austin Barnes.
Again, taking something off right there. You see him turn it. Clayton Kershaw can get you out in so many ways. The fastball, the curveball, slider, and changeup.
That'll brings up Christian Yelich, 205, 356, 786, his slash line this year. 12 homers, 22 RBIs on the season. First pitch, he fouls that off. So you got, I mentioned the 4 MVPs on the field. There are 2 of them right here. And the Kershaw-Yelich battles. Regular season, 9 for 18, 2 homers. Win Yelich. Postseason, 0 for 4. Win Kershaw. On the inside corner, a favorable ball strike. Umpire behind the plate tonight, Quinn Wilcott, tends to favor the pitcher with regards to calling strikes.
So Yelich has taken a lot more pitches this year. He's more patient, but by taking so many more, he's behind in the count a lot more, as he is right here. That's one reason his strikeout rate went from 20% to 30%. Ravi, that is an enormous jump from 1 year, especially for a great hitter like this.
Nope, a little high, 2-2. Get a chance to keep an eye on that score bug in the upper right-hand part of the screen. It was 6-2, and Fernando Tatis Jr. just hit a 3-run home run to bring the Padres back within 1. If the Cardinals win, that series ends. 2-2, breaking ball, strike 3. See you later, Christian Yelich. We'll take a look at that strikeout in a second. Let's get a studio update.
Ravi, Padres trying to avoid elimination tonight versus the Cardinals. Fernando Tatis Jr. was 2 for 8 before this at-bat in this series. A 3-run home run. He's the youngest Padre with a postseason home run. And the Cardinals lead 6-5 in the bottom of the 6th.
All right, Rick, exciting there for sure. Tatis Jr., incredible. Number 3 hitter, and that ball is ripped into left field. Jed Jerko did the same thing last night. Good fastball hitter. He about faced that one, and the first hit of the night for the Brew Crew.
And Kershaw trying to get ahead right there with the 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Jerko meets it. Perfect placement. Gets on base, and now we'll see Kershaw from the stretch.
From the stretch against Ryan Healy. Ryan Healy bats cleanup. He spent most of the year at the alternate site. And when Corbin Burns went down, Healy was called up. The numbers would never suggest this would be who you have in the cleanup spot.
Brewers hit .223 as a team this year. They are not a good offensive team. Last night, Daniel Vogelbach hit fourth. He'd been released by a couple teams this year. This is Healy's first time hitting cleanup for the Brewers this year, and it's in an elimination game.
In an elimination game. So the 0-1, that's that high breaking ball, doesn't bite enough in the zone. And it evens the count up at 1-1. No, inside. Saw the first pitch strike. That's something Kershaw's been doing a lot this year. 68% of first pitch strikes, which is the highest in baseball.
And he's been throwing his curveball 19% of the time. That's the most he's thrown it since he was 20 years old. And, of course, he struck out Yelich looking with a great curveball.
Beaten into the ground, right at Seager. And that'll do it in the first as Kershaw gives up a single. Mookie Betts had a couple of doubles last night. He'll lead things off for Los Angeles against Brandon Woodruff.
Back to the Cardinals and the Padres after Fernando Tatis Jr. launched a 3-run home run. Next batter, Manny Machado, bat flip and all, tying it. Second time in Padres postseason history they've hit back-to-back home runs. Ravi, they're starting over 6-6 in the sixth.
It's got a Yankee-Indian feel from last night. We'll start with Mookie Betts tonight. Rick, thank you very much. It's amazing the impact that Tatis has had on Manny Machado. So Mookie, Corey Seager, Justin Turner, Max Muncy. Will Smith is the designated hitter. He's the catcher, and he's DHing for the Dodgers.
And this is the first time the Dodgers have used this lineup all season. You know, the old Dodgers used to use the same lineup every game. Now, mix and match time. This is a new lineup this year.
Don't be fooled by the 3 and 5 numbers on Brandon Woodruff. Go off of his last start against the Cardinals, help keep their playoff hopes alive. He was outstanding. He's going to focus his efforts tonight on the Dodgers using primarily a fastball. That's his bread and butter. And the first pitch to Betts is a fastball. It's up and out of the zone.
And last four starts, Ravi, 27 2/3, 14 hits, 3 walks, 36 strikeouts. He has been dominant, and when he locates that fastball, he doesn't need much more than that.
This is a good fastball hitter. Hey, this is a good fastball hitting team, the Dodgers, aren't they?
It is a good fastball hitting team, but, you know, if he locates well, and he has to be able to locate the 4-seam fastball up, the 2-seam fastball has to be down and in on the right-handed hitters. He'll throw the slider also against the righties to keep him honest. That's a good pitch.
Inside to Betts, who slashed 292, 366, and 927. He had 16 homers and 39 RBIs. He and Seager are a feared 1-2 combination, and when they hit first and second this year, they're 28-8.
That pitch has to be established early on. Woodruff so far doing a nice job. And again, Mookie Betts, as Mookie Betts, will take a lot of pitches, already going into his 5th pitch here in the first at-bat. And he'll come back with some information for the rest of his teammates.
Woodruff gets a lot of ground balls against right-handers, about 56%, which is 4th highest in the game. Well, Mookie called himself out. I mean, I thought Mookie said, I think I'm done, and Jim Reynolds then was appealed to, and he called him out.
Shortstop, number 5, Corey Seager.
Talk about an honest hitter. Mookie's like, I did it, I'm done.
He went.
Wait a minute, you guys want to check? Okay.
Did he go?
He went.
He knew
How
it.
did he go?
Hitters know.
So a good start for Woodruff as he punches out Betts, who last night started the game off with a double off the glove of Ryan Braun. And here's Corey Seager hitting the ball as hard as anybody in baseball.
Dave Roberts told us that he hasn't seen anyone hit the ball this hard for an entire season as Corey Seager has, and he uses his lower half like Juan Soto does, which is quite a compliment.
I remember early on when Dave Roberts said Corey Seager was going to have a fantastic season. It was because of this right here. Wasn't missing the fastball. He was hitting it out front, and he was driving the ball straight away center field the other way. This one, 447 feet, the distance, using all legs.
Good fastball from Woodruff, and Seager swings over it. 447 sounds really good until you remember what Luis Robert did today, where he hit like 487 feet. I don't believe it's landed yet. I'm not sure how they got a number on it. What a home run for the White Sox. Superstar young player. The White Sox bounced out of the playoffs. There's a breaking ball from Woodruff.
So Seager hit 278 with 2 strikes this year. That's the highest among National League qualifiers. You're hitting that high with 2 strikes, you're doing something really well. By the way, Ravi, Tony Gwynn hit 335 with 2 strikes for a 5-year period in his career. Think about that for a minute.
I am. That's impossible. He's worked count 3-2. Woodruff deliberate on the mound. Gets the sign from Nottingham. And he blew him away. 98 miles an hour. And what a start for Brandon Woodruff tonight.
Now that's overpowering right there. Woodruff against the lefties. He'll throw that changeup and the fastball, and he's used the upper quadrant really well. Taken off. It is. Again, fastball, 2,500 revolutions per minute, 97.8 miles per hour.
Think about the names on this list. Giolito, DeGrom, most strikeouts on fastballs, and Brandon Woodruff is at the top of this list. Big time four-seamer. Here's Justin Turner.
So this is Turner's 30th postseason game played at Dodger Stadium. He's played more postseason games at Dodger Stadium than any Dodger ever. Granted, we have a bunch more games there, more rounds, everything else.
4 homers, 23 RBI. It's a tough matchup here for Turner, who has struggled with the high fastball this year, hitting just 235 against it. Woodruff bends one, and it's 2-0. This one into right, playable, and that is Tyrone Taylor. Easy inning for Woodruff. Good start for the Brewers' star pitcher tonight. Most consecutive division titles in baseball history. Baseball history, of course, Bobby Cox, Chipper Jones, Smoltz, all the great Braves pitchers. The Yankees from 98 to 06. We know all about that team. And, of course, the Dodgers with Dave Roberts and the superstar MVPs they have now. 8 consecutive division titles. And Doc joins us now. All right, so you have Kershaw on the mound. Of course, we chronicled the great chapters and then the playoff chapters. Will this year be different? And if so, why?
I think, well, that's certainly our expectation. And I think that health is first and foremost for Clayton. He's in a great place physically. I think the shortened season, I think, is a benefit to him. Now it's just going out there and winning baseball games and executing pitches.
Dave, what kind of challenge does Brandon Woodruff present for you guys?
I think for him, it's a 4-pitch mix, but it's velocity. It's high spin rate. It's, right now he's a guy that's going to go out there and challenge you. We like the fastball. He trusts his fastball. Hopefully we can, the old Barry Bonds, make him check off his number one, his best pitch. So we got to be on the fastball and see if we can get him those secondaries. But he's got a good arm. It's a great matchup.
Dave, from your vantage point, and you've seen Clayton Kershaw all these years, what makes him so different this year?
Well, I think that he's been especially speaking the last few years, he's been healthy, and I think that his slider has been the most consistent it's been all year. His last turn wasn't great, but I think that even tonight in that first inning, small sample, but the slider had the depth that we want. And I think that his pitch sequence is better. He's using his curveball more. He's using arm side a lot more, too.
All right, David, thank you very much. Always fun when Mookie Betts ends up with the ball in his glove, and great to hear from Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers. Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot being made about Kershaw and the fact that it's a 60-game season and the velocity is up a little bit. But again, we'll see when the game is over what the end ad line on the resume is. His pitch usage, fastball, curveball, slider. Doesn't throw the changeup very much, but the curveball more often, fastball a little less often. It's not a huge variance from what you've come to expect from him.
Just keeps you off balance if you're a right-handed hitter. You don't know what pitch he's going to throw at any count, and he can throw it wherever he wants, locating it well on both sides of the plate.
That one got in on Keston Hira, and he flies out, so 2 quick outs. That'll bring up Tyrone Taylor, the right fielder. So Ryan Braun, we saw him last night start. You got the sense talking to Craig Counsell today. It was one of those things where you're kind of testing the ice. You're not sure how stable it is. You went out there, and it just didn't work. And it really was okay in the field, even though we saw him bang into the wall a couple of times early in that game. It was more with the swings. He may be available to pinch hit tonight at best, but he heard it over the weekend against the Cardinals.
It's the loss. I mean, he came in hitting .337 in his postseason career. Pablo Sandoval is the only one with a higher average among active players in the postseason than Ryan Braun.
And if Braun actually were playing tonight, this would have been the first time in a game that you had 5 MVPs from prior years. There have been MVPs from the same year, but there haven't been 5 from prior years on the field playing in the same game, ever. And this one on the ground, Seager will fire across to first in a 1-2-3 inning for Kershaw as Taylor is retired. One of the prettiest ballparks, so much prettier when there were fans in the stands, but this time of year, Dodger Stadium with a crowd, it's hard to beat.
Third oldest ballpark in baseball, and it still looks great. And this is the 91st playoff game played in this ballpark.
So the Rays and the Yankees will take each other on in San Diego. How about the Astros and the A's going to Dodger Stadium? I mean, let's kind of think about that from a baseball perspective. You have the A's, who of course have Mike Fiers, who's taking on the Astros, a team he once played for, and then kind of uncovered the story of the cheating scandal. So you have them at Dodger Stadium.
That's what we call storylines.
And how about all 3 American League Central teams not making it past the first round?
And the NL Central struggling as well, too. And the Padres, again, have come back to tie the Cardinals up on ESPN. All right, back to Woodruff. He'll get Muncy, Will Smith, and Cody Bellinger here in the second inning. There you go. Instead of throwing 98, we'll start him off with a breaking ball.
Well, and one of the big reasons is Max Muncy, a very good fastball hitter. Brandon Woodruff will have the curveball. He also has the changeup to go along with that pitch. Try to get Muncy. He'll show him the fastball, but it has to be up in the zone.
Like that, the former Mississippi State Bulldog, Brandon Woodruff. And Muncy, who back-to-back seasons of 35 home runs in 2018 and 2019.
Woo. Right there.
I think Brandon Woodruff feeling really good about his fastball tonight.
This year, 18 walks, 91 strikeouts. He has great power with that fastball and great precision.
One thing he's going to have to do, he can establish the fastball first time around the Dodger lineup, but the second time around that lineup, this is too good of a team to not make an adjustment. So he has to be able to mix it up second time around.
It was interesting. Of course, Hader didn't pitch in game one. There really wasn't a great opportunity to get him in there. But Greg Counsell, unlike some other managers, said we can't lose the series and not have our best pitcher pitch. So he's going to pitch tonight.
I sure hope so. Love watching him throw.
That's a strike three, and Muncy is gone. Third strikeout for Woodruff. And while we have strikeouts here, there are home runs in San Diego. Here's an update.
Ravi, the Cardinals have won 52 straight overall when leading by 4 or more runs. However, tonight the Padres have rallied. Their third home run in the form of Will Myers has given San Diego the lead 7-6, bottom 7 over on ESPN as San Diego trying to force a game 3.
Right, Slam Diego with no grand slams. They are hitting the ball out of the yard tonight.
Cardinals are 68-1 lifetime, leading a postseason game by 4 runs, and they might lose this one.
Could be number 2. Jam shot, and it's popped up off the bat of Will Smith. An easy play, and boy, Brandon Woodruff is in command to start this one.
Got arm side run. Good against the right-handed hitters. We saw a couple pitches go in on Mookie Betts. That one right on the hands also of Will Smith, not allowing him to get some extension.
Another one of those former MVPs that are on the field tonight. Coming to the plate now, Cody Bellinger, the center fielder.
Talk about Kershaw in the postseason, much smaller sample, but Bellinger's OPS is 350 points lower in the postseason than it is in the regular season, and that's the largest difference we've ever seen with 100 plate appearances.
Breaking ball, strike 1. So Bellinger hit 239 this year, 333 on base, 789 OPS. He started real slow. He ended up with 12 homers, 30 RBIs. Here are the OPS numbers in the regular season and the postseason. Oof. Changeup, and it's 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's his equalizer against left-handed hitters. You saw Cody there after the swing falling back. Usually you want them to stay in that position, but that's a little bit looking for that pull side, dead pull hitter on the ground.
So, Eddie, Bellinger has seen a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup here. What's he look for on 2-2?
The good thing is he's seen the kitchen sink. And the scouting report to him, establish fastball, go to the breaking pitch, try to get ahead. But Woodruff's fastball is special. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes outside corner with it. Just like he did with Muncy.
Count goes to 3 and 2. 71% of Woodruff's pitches are 95 or higher.
It's a big man.
It is a big man. He's already got 3 strikeouts. And there's number 4. Bellinger chased. Brandon Woodruff. 6 batters, 4 strikeouts. 0 offense.
Elevate and celebrate.
Craig Counsell, manager of the Brewers, joins us now. Brandon Woodruff, an awfully impressive start. Craig, what have you seen that maybe the regular viewer can't?
Well, he's on top of his game so far. Really good first 2 innings. I thought that the first pitch to Smith tells you how much his ball's moving. To get to pop up like that, which on an 0-0 count, that tells you that's a lot of movement, obviously with big velocity. So good stuff so far. Very good.
Hey, Craig, what have you seen from Kershaw so far?
Well, I think the one thing is just from we saw it on video, but his velocity is up on the fastball for sure as compared to the last couple of years. So that's obviously helped him out this year, and it's always a challenge when you face this guy.
Greg, lastly, you've made it quite clear you believe if Woodruff pitches well, there's a path to Game 3 and success. What does that mean?
Well, I just think, we've lost significant pitching here before the series, and so Game 3 was always a concern, but I think we're in pretty good shape. If Woody pitches well here, we had some guys pitch really well last night, they're going to be in good shape moving forward here, so if Woody can do what he's doing right now, I like our chances tomorrow.
All right, Craig, thanks so much for being with us. Good luck tonight.
You got it. Take care.
What he means, Ravi, is Woodruff goes 8, Hader pitches the 9th, and tomorrow's a bullpen game with all those power arms pitching an inning or 2 at a time.
There's a hit up the middle. That one off the bat of the number 8 hitter, Luis Urias. And important for the bottom of the order to produce.
That's a nice piece of hitting right there. You got the complete shift. Ball's middle in, and yet with this slider, he lets it get deep and hits it the other way. Nicely done by Urias. 95.9 miles per hour off the bat.
And aboard the
leadoff hitter on.
Now Jacob Nottingham. And as Craig said, we're kind of in a defensive mode tonight. There's not going to be a lot of runs on either side. But if we can have the bottom third of the order get on base and a little squibber again in a shift, it'll allow Urias to move to second. Nottingham got sawed off. But if we can get those guys on and then have Garcia and Yelich up, we have a chance.
Right. They're a better defensive team with Taylor in left, and Urias is a shortstop playing third.
And this is a nice play right there. But the most important part is Nottingham moves the runner over to second base. You might not be bunting in today's game, but at least that runner's in scoring position with the top part of the order coming up.
So Avisail Garcia was known as Mini Miggy when he started. His idol was Maglio Ordonez, but he looked a lot like Miguel Cabrera. And Kershaw pours in a strike. And we're going to get another update from John Brickley in our studio, because that guy, Fernando Tatis Jr., hit another home run. And the Padres are now up 9-6. Another one in there for a strike.
Before the first homer, he had left 10 men on base in this series, and he said, all right, it's enough of that.
Padres win that, they'll force a Game 3. The Brewers win this, they will force a Game 3. Got him. All right, let's see that Tatis homer as Yelich is coming to the plate here.
All right, Ravi, so Fernando Tatis Jr., a 3-run home run and now a 2-run home run, becoming the 3rd youngest player in postseason history with multi-home run game. Padres as a team have 4 long balls, extend the lead 9-6 on the Cardinals, bottom 7 over on ESPN.
Pretty impressive and emphatic bat flip to go with that one. So San Diego has come all the way back from a 6-2 deficit to lead 9-6. Yelich, last 3 times he's been at the plate, struck out, ended the game last night. Struck out here to start this one, and he looks at strike 1.
Right, and he swung at the first pitch 13% of the time.
Urchielli's eyes on that curveball. Again, analytics have said you throw that high curveball, it seems to have worked a lot lately, the last year and a half. Being able to locate a lot of hitters, just freeze on it. And again, Clayton Kershaw, the last two batters, you look at Avisail Garcia and now with Christian Yelich. He's established his fastball, got in ahead with both hitters 0-2, went with the slider to get Avisail. Let's see what he does right now, 0-2 to get Christian Yelich.
This was the formula that Council talked about, though. Get the 8-9 guys on, and let's see if Yelich can bring them in.
Again, really good spin rate on that slider, around 26.89 on the slider compared to the fastball where it's less than that, in the 2400s. Tight spin, tough to pick up.
1-2, and that was inside. Yelich is able to foul it off.
And an advanced hitter like Christian Yelich right now, he's thinking, okay, he came in, busted me hard in. Do I give him the inside part of the plate? Now I look middle away, try to drive it with the runner in scoring position. All those things have to go through his head, especially with a stud like Clayton Kershaw on the mound.
One-two, Yelich hit it hard, but it is right at Cody Bellinger. From one MVP to another, leave a runner stranded. We have zeros on the board, 2.5 in. Brandon Woodruff, 4 strikeouts. He'll get the bottom of the order. Chris Taylor, A.J. Pollock, and Austin Barnes here in the 3rd inning. Taylor, the 7th-year veteran out of the University of Virginia. Quick bat, 8 homers, 32 RBI on the season. Eddie, for a guy that hits 7th or 8th, anything that you can learn by sitting on the bench when you watch Woodruff for the first 2 innings?
Oh yeah, you get a big time advantage. You get to see the tendencies, especially if the way he pitches. If in my case I was a right-handed hitter, the way he pitches the right-handed hitters, if he uses the fastball, the slider, the location also, and to see the tendencies of where the baseball is going. In this case, Taylor, fastball, fouls it off the other way. We've seen a lot of late contact. Will Smith getting jammed on the pop-up. You know you have to be able to stay tight and through with your swing because it sneaks up on you in a big way.
Got one to hit. He popped it up shallow right. Tyrone Taylor coming in and making the play. So you look at the lineup tonight, there may be some wondering, like, why is Jock Peterson not in the lineup? He has good numbers, 4 for 5 in his career against Woodruff with a couple of homers. And it was made clear, like, we can't get Pollock out of the lineup, and we need to make sure Will Smith's in the lineup as well. Alden, you're there. Tell us about Pollock's season and why he's so integral to this team.
Yeah, it's actually, Ravi, been one of the more encouraging things for the Dodgers that A.J. Pollock's put together the season he's had. I mean, we're talking about a high-priced free agent who played basically at replacement level last year, struck out in 11 of 13 postseason at-bats last October. And, you know, one of the things that he talked about was that he's been a lot better at dealing with adversity this year. And it's interesting because he had a really tough time during the shutdown. Buster Olney did a great piece on this for us at ESPN.com. But with a daughter born way premature, he got COVID after that. He reported to the team, with the team in LA, away from his family. And he talked about how all of that stuff being thrown in his life just gave him a different perspective. It made sort of some of the smaller things in baseball not matter as much. And he feels like that's a big reason why it's shown up to him being able to settle in and just sort of be himself, be who the Dodgers thought they were signing. I have no idea if this stuff actually really helps, but A.J. Pollock definitely believes that it did.
That one's outside. Finish that story too, Alden. I guess his wife, Kate, was a big influence. She was an athlete at Notre Dame. And when he brought up the return to summer camp, she basically said, do you really want to look at the guys winning the World Series from the couch? And I want to do what's best for you and what's best for Maddie, he said. She encouraged him to return. Maddie is their daughter. And the 1-2. Nope, outside 2-2.
You can tell the respect also that Woodruff has for A.J. Pollock and the ability to hit the fastball. So far in this at-bat, it's been all sliders and one curveball. Now he's coming in.
Bit of the plate.
So Jock Peterson had a 3-for-3 game with 2 homers off of Woodruff. The only guy who's ever hit 2 homers in a game off of Woodruff, but he hasn't been swinging nearly as well as Pollock has. He has trouble, Dave Roberts told us, with velocity belt high and above, and that's the reason that Pollock, a right-handed hitter, is facing Woodruff, not Peterson tonight.
Having a little issue with that mask too. Saw Max Fried earlier today, also in the Braves dugout, having issues with the mask.
That's a perfect pitch. That's strikeout number 5 for Woodruff. The glove was there, and Nottingham caught it. Didn't have to move it.
Number 15, Austin Barnes.
Again, all strikeouts so far for Brandon Woodruff have been via the fastball. 3 of them looking, 2 of them swinging. It's electric stuff. This time pitching backwards, using the breaking pitch early, and then finishing him off by freezing him with the heater.
Nobody can hit that pitch.
Here's Austin Barnes, the catcher, a 9-hole hitter. 1 homer, 9 RBI on the season.
And Alden told us, of course, that Barnes has become kind of the personal catcher for Kershaw, but Will Smith is such a good hitter. They've got him in the lineup as the DH tonight, and with the expanded roster, they can use 3 catchers, carry 3 catchers, and that's a real bonus in the postseason.
It's a big bonus, and just getting offense from the catcher position is a big bonus for the Dodgers. That has not, maybe go back to Russell Martin. There was some consistent offensive production from the catcher spot.
The most important player on the field every night is the pitcher. So let's make him comfortable. Let's put him in a perfect spot. And that's why so many pitchers enjoy throwing to certain guys.
So Barnes' uncle is Mike Gallega.
Really?
Yeah. Gallega, of course, played the big leagues for 13 years.
One of my favorite people ever.
I know, that's why I brought it up. I knew you had
I have some great stories, but I can't tell them now.
Can you tell it now?
No.
How about now? I mean, because I can see you thinking of, like, how can I get one out quick?
Mike Gallego left his glove in the clubhouse during the earthquake in 1989. His glove meant so much to him, he went back into the clubhouse in a pitch-black clubhouse. When they said, you're not allowed to go back in there, he retrieved his glove because he said, I can't go anywhere without my glove. This is my baby.
And see, here comes the next pitch. Didn't miss anything. There you go. He goes the other way. Somewhere Mike Gallego very proud of that Austin Barnes effort, and a single. That's the first hit that the Dodgers have tonight.
And again, working the count all the way deep. 3-2, gets a fastball up. Barnes hitting it the other way, but most importantly now, you get Woodruff from the stretch. Second time now around through the lineup. We're going to see now the Dodgers, if they've been able to make an adjustment from the first time they faced Woodruff.
And what they can't do is go watch video. And I know Corey Seager is a huge video guy. Historically, after each at bat, he'd go and watch video. None of the hitters have that ability anymore to go watch video during the game.
First time around, 174 for Woodruff this year. Second time, 204. Third time, 264. And as for not watching video, Ravi, Javi Baez, J.D. Martinez say it really affected them this year.
Good pitch.
I'll tell you who that did not affect. It's the guy at the plate right now, Mookie Betts. Been as consistent as they come. This one was a tight slider.
$12 years, $365 million for Mookie Betts from the Dodgers.
And Ravi, when I say this is the best Dodger team that I've ever seen over the last 40 years, he's the biggest reason. He's what they needed. Dynamic leadoff hitter and another tremendous defensive play.
Last time up, Mookie saw 5 pitches. They were all fastballs. A couple 4-seamers up and 2-seamers down and in. Already seen a slider, fastball up. This time the 2-seamer goes in on him.
We did a game early in the season where Mookie Betts was not hitting leadoff, and since he's moved into the leadoff spot, the numbers have jumped up immensely.
Well, we saw the Red Sox try to do this also last season early on. Didn't pay off. Dave Roberts, again, the analytics say one thing, Mookie says another. Mookie wins out both times.
Woo! How about a little change up at 85?
That's not fair.
That was not in the scouting report.
Brandon Woodruff. That's half a dozen punchies for Woodruff. Twice Betts. Call the shots during postseason games and compete for cash prizes with MLB Rally, a new free-to-play game where you make at-bat predictions in real time. Download MLB Rally app now. Restrictions apply. You can see official rules at MLB.com/rally. Kershaw's turn now after Woodruff so effective and filthy with a changeup to get Mookie Betts. Jerko, Healy, Garcia.
Ravi, Kershaw making the second start in the postseason here just shows you how deep the pitching is here. And it's one of the great pitching staffs in the game, obviously. Their ERA was 3.02. Second in the league was 3.84. So that .82 gap is the greatest difference in the history of baseball between the league leader in ERA and second best, since earned runs were counted early 1900s.
Off-speed diet for Jerko this time. He jumped him on a fastball first time up, and there you go with an 88-mile-an-hour away. Let's get a studio update.
Ravi Fernando Tatis Jr., 2 home runs tonight. In the 8th, makes the nice stop on the ground ball by Dexter Fowler. However, his throw offline. 2nd and 3rd set up for the Cardinals. They would get 2 sac flies to pull within a run. 9-8 that game on ESPN in the bottom of the 8th.
All right, Brett, keep us posted. Good stuff. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Profar's on. Will Myers is up. He homered already. As Kershaw throws another strike, this time to Ryan Healy. He's got 4 strikeouts. Woodruff's got 6. Two quick ones. How would you attack Clayton Kershaw, Eddie?
Well, the scouting report for the Milwaukee Brewers, you can see what they've done early, and that's swing early at the fastball. Hunt it, because once you get the slider, you get the curveball, you're in trouble. Exit velocity isn't as good. Contact rate is not as good. That's exactly what's happened. So far, 1 hit. The first 7 pitches that have been fastballs off Clayton Kershaw, 7 attempts. That's how he has to continue to pitch, and that's exactly what the Brewers have tried to do early on. Attack early. If you take it right there, you saw Orlando Arcia take that pitch. He looked straight into the dugout going, ugh. Now here comes the slider or the curveball.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Tonight you got a chance to see a power pitcher against a guy that is a precision pitcher in Kershaw. Arcia homered last night. There's a better one in there for a strike. 1 and 2. Got a chance to clinch it tonight. He's been great in those scenarios.
And he's been great when the Dodgers are ahead in a series. He hasn't been as good when they're behind in a series.
K-zone will make its own case that could have been called strike 3. There's another one. Clayton Kershaw, a 1-2-3 inning. He's got 5 strikeouts. Orlando Arcia, his latest victim. So far, we got ourselves a big-time pitching duel. Welcome back to the 2020 Wild Card Series presented by Hankook Tire. Carl Ravitch, Tim Kirkland, Eduardo Perez, Alden Gonzalez is at Dodger Stadium. And now playing on ESPN, the MLB Best of 3 Wild Card Series will continue tonight, tomorrow, plus Game 2 of the NBA Finals. The Heat and Lakers is Friday at 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific on ABC. It's all now playing on ESPN and the ESPN app. See Doc Rivers taking the Philadelphia 76ers head coaching job.
He's a great coach. He will help the Ben Simmons and the big boy.
Joel Embiid. Is that the big boy?
Poor Andy Jacobson wanted him to go to the Knicks.
Yeah. Our producer Andy was in our ear saying, well, the Knicks probably could have done that. He says that about his baseball team and his basketball team.
And his football
team too.
Poor Andy.
We start with Seager at the plate as the Padres have hit another homer. Will Myers just went deep again. He's got 2 tonight. They lead 11-8. Seager, Turner, Muncy. And Woodruff working on a gem right now. He's allowed 1 hit. He struck out 6.
And what Woodruff has been able to do is throw that 4-seam fastball and 2-seam fastball and make them act like 2 totally different pitches. One away to the lefties, that 2-seamer. Then he'll elevate with the 4-seamer. Keeping the hitters uncomfortable. He'll mix in the changeup also with the curveball.
Eddie, the changeup he threw to Mookie to end last inning. What about that?
How about that? If you're looking at the last 2 games that he has pitched against right-handed hitters, you're going into that meeting saying, boys, he's not going to throw you the changeup. Yet he comes in with 2 strikes and he throws the changeup. Only threw it 26 times. to right-handed hitters the entire season, compared to 186 times to the left-handed hitters. Mookie sure came back to that dugout, told all 3 hitting coaches, said, guys, you better put that in your scouting report. He does throw a changeup.
First 4 strikeouts were all fastballs. Changed his approach a little bit here in his last couple. And he's got Seager 2-2. A little late on that 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And Dave Roberts talked about Clayton Kershaw's health. It's clear, too, Seager's healthy. But given he had Tommy John surgery, hip surgery in 18, came back in 19, but now fully recovered and a lot stronger. Deep to left field, and Yelich, ball carried all the way to the track, but he makes the play. Let's get an update from the Brick.
Ravi, the Padres were down 6-2 tonight to the Cardinals, but have rallied in a big way. 5 home runs. Will Myers with his 2nd of the night. San Diego, the first team ever in a playoff game to have 5 home runs from the 6th inning on.
5 home runs since the 6th inning. Lightning in a bottle, and to Eduardo's point, doing the KBO telecast, we were all excited about watching them bat flip. They got nothing on the major leaguers. Nothing.
They bat flip after outs.
Here's Turner. Flew out to right his first time. Brandon Woodruff is pitching tonight.
Eddie, I expected to see more fastballs. He has mixed it up to the point where...
I told you earlier on, again, that was the first time around. You have to make an adjustment with the Dodgers. If you're going to try to challenge this lineup, just the fastballs, especially the second time around, it's going to get hit. Nottingham's doing a nice job of working the umpire, working the plate, the angles, again, moving in, letting him know this is the target, this is the game plan. And so far, Brandon Woodruff has been able to execute exactly where this guy has been able to put himself in. If you miss against this lineup, you're done.
This is why the injury to Corbin Burns was so bad for the Brewers, because his stuff is as good as this guy's. And when you can run those 2 guys out there starting game 1 and 2, you got a chance in any series.
And we haven't talked today as much as we did yesterday about the injury to Devin Williams. A great reliever is not on the roster. Another reason that it seems like you'd want to play for Craig Counsell, that guy has not, in spite of the injuries to Burns and Anderson and Williams, and the numbers tell you we can't survive without those 2 guys for sure, but Anderson makes it 3. Nothing about his approach. Like, he sells you on the idea, we're good, we win tonight, we get a good pitching performance, and Hader for a couple innings. I think we have a roadmap to success in game 3 against a team that went 43-17.
I'll say it again, Ravi. If I have to pick a young manager to build with for the next 10 years to manage my team, I would take Craig Counsell. Great feel for the game, great feel for people, never panics, great sense of humor, really smart, and a good player in his day. Even though he had the weirdest batting stance in the world. It's like a man stuck in a phone booth with a bee. He told me, I know it was ridiculous, but it worked for me.
One down, bottom 4, 2-2 to Turner. See ya. Change up caught. Strikeout number 7 for Woodruff.
I think that one right there, maybe a slider. And again, he's been able to keep the guys guessing. I was even trying to follow along here to see what he was going to do to Justin Turner. Started him off that at bat with a slider, then went 2 four-seam fastballs, went with a curveball, four-seam fastball, and you're right, Ravi, right there, went with a second changeup against the right-handed hitter to strike him out.
You wonder, Eddie, do you change the approach if you're the Dodgers and go after that first pitch if he's willing to throw a fastball the way that the Dodgers were attacked by the Brewers and Kershaw early? It feels like tonight, at least right now, you get 2 strikes and the game's over.
Yeah, and again, but he's keeping everybody guessing. And that's what he has to do against the lineup so prolific like the Dodgers. You have to be able to do it. He's evolved from the first inning power type pitcher of this is what I'm going to do, 4-seam up in the zone, to now having struck out Mookie Betts and Justin Turner on changeups. Don't give in right here. No need. You can turn on it in a hurry.
Ravi, this is just another reminder when really good pitchers locate. Our hitters today have virtually no chance. You miss location, they take it out. But we've seen it so many times already in this postseason. This guy's been great, and he can stop any lineup when he throws it where he needs to throw it.
He missed location right there and got away with one, too.
He took a little something off of it, put a little cut on it. A lot of movement.
Down with movement.
He struck out 2 in each of the first 3 innings. He's got 1 here in the 4th.
Pitch count at 62. 3 2/3.
Oh, my goodness. Brandon Woodruff. 8 strikeouts through 4, and instead of flipping bats, they're tossing helmets right now in frustration. So far, so good for that guy. Brandon Woodruff has been phenomenal, striking out 2 in each of the first 4 innings. Last night, Mookie Betts had 2 doubles at this point in the game. Tonight, he's got 2 strikeouts. But Kershaw doesn't have the big strikeout numbers, but he's been equally effective. He's got 5 of those. He's allowed a couple of hits, and we have donuts on the scoreboard, 0-0. Two hits to 1, 8 strikeouts to 5. 46 pitches for Kershaw, 63 for Woodruff.
Remember, we had a 12-inning scoreless game between the Braves and the Reds the other day. That's never happened in the postseason.
Keston Hiura leads things off. Ball 1 as he spun out of the way. Are you foreshadowing something like that?
We're not going 12. Hiura's a really interesting guy. He led his team in hits, homers, and RBIs. And yet he hit .212. So the hit leader for the team batted .212. That's the lowest batting average for a hit leader on a team ever. Granted, short season, a lot of weird things happen.
Yes. You see Irvine product 2-1 as he swings on top of that one. At 442, a school record as a junior. That one hard, and that one's going to get down in front of Bellinger. So you fall behind 3-1, and Keston Hiura leads things off for the Brewers' 3rd hit of the night.
Number 15, Tyrone Taylor.
Every time Kershaw takes the mound in the postseason, you are reminded this is one of the greatest pitchers of all time. But in the postseason starts where LA has led the series 2-1 to 165. When they trail the series, the ERA jumps. When the series is tied, 5-5 with a 5.55 ERA. So this would obviously fall under the first one. The Dodgers lead the series, and he's pitching really well. Tyrone Taylor fouls that up. I would imagine if you showed Clayton Kershaw those numbers, they would mean nothing to him. Wouldn't even know it. Right?
I would agree, yes.
Tell you what, though, I'll take him and I'll put him in my rotation anytime. You kidding me? This guy's a legend.
Taylor able to catch the helmet as it fell off. Not a surprise. Two-sport athlete in high school, Tyrone Taylor. He rushed for 1,520 yards his senior year, ran for 20 touchdowns, and caught 11 more.
Common denominator of every baseball player I've ever met. Multi-sport star in high school. Please, kids, play another sport. Put the bat down and go make the basketball team in December.
0-2, 0-3. Kershaw's 6. Let's bring Alden back in. He, of course, is at Dodger Stadium. And the factors that went into Kershaw's sort of resurgence, what were they?
Well, Carl, I mean, to put it simply, he's throwing harder. He has more depth in the slider like you guys have touched on. And the reasons why seem to elude Clayton. He continues to say that he can't pinpoint one specific reason why he's tapped back. He's basically tapped back into the stuff that he had in about 2017. I mean, we thought that pitcher didn't exist anymore. And he's put in a lot of work to do that. He continued to be confident that it was in there somewhere. And whether it was the visit to Driveline, like Eduardo pointed out earlier, whether it was working with the Dodgers trainer Brandon McDaniel, whether it was just simply getting healthier, he returned from that shutdown, and all of a sudden that stuff was there again. And I don't think there's a better representation of how different this Kershaw is than what we've seen previously than the last couple of pitches that he made in the postseason last year. Those back-to-back home runs that he gave up to Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto. I remember that night because the pitch tracking system couldn't differentiate his slider and his fastball. It was a problem that his slider and fastball were so similar. This year, that fastball being 91, 92 consistently, that slider having that depth, I mean, it's just meant everything for him, and obviously it's just played up the curveball too, which has been a very effective pitch.
Luis Urias got a hit off Kershaw the first time tonight.
And last time they had the shift on Urias, trying to pound him in. He was able to keep his hands in and still drive it the other way. Dodgers again with the shift. Second baseman playing just a couple steps on the other side, on the left side of the field. 0-2 already. Clayton's got some. Look how far away from the plate Urias is. He's giving him everything away, yet Barnes still goes inside.
That one is into the shift. It's nobody there at second, so a good job by Chris Taylor to go to first base. He fielded it. Seager was not going to win the race to second base in time to get Hira. So Taylor threw to first to pick up out number 2. San Diego Padres have just beaten the Cardinals 11-9. That will cause a game 3 in that series. They roared from behind 6-2. We are now over on ESPN as well as on ESPN2 for a short time. We will bring all of the baseball fans over to ESPN shortly. Jacob Nottingham now with a runner in scoring position. Keston Hira. It's like any time you can get a runner to second, it's a huge opportunity the way the pitchers are throwing tonight. Strike 1. Well, many of you are watching the Padres rally with the homers. We've had none of that in this game. Clayton Kershaw and Brandon Woodruff have been phenomenal on the mound. Combined 14 strikeouts. You'd figure we're in the 8th inning. We're not. 4 2/3. and 4 innings respectively. The Brewers down 1-0 in this series. Need a great start from Woodruff. They are depleted in every which way. They used so many guys out of the bullpen, all of whom were really good last night, except Josh Hader, who didn't pitch, so he's available. And if Woodruff can get him into about the 6th, 7th inning, you have that weapon out there. And the Brewers are right back in the series if they can pull off a win.
That Reds-Braves game we were talking about, 37 strikeouts.
36.
Major League record in a postseason game. Braves had 21 and won the game.
That was a nightmarish series for the Cincinnati Reds.
It was. 0-2, what do? You chase, and Clayton Kershaw wasn't close to Woodruff. All of a sudden, he's one behind him.
Ravi, how does anyone ever get a hit anymore?
It's hard tonight. 15 strikeouts between the two of them. Kershaw's got 7. Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and much more. Got some pretty good statistics working in this game tonight. Pitchers duel extraordinaire. Brandon Woodruff toe-to-toe with Clayton Kershaw. We'll get Will Smith, Cody Bellinger, and Chris Taylor. Kershaw has now gone through the lineup twice. Smith made contact his first time up, although he was jammed. This is the pitch that Counsell talked about. It was a 2-seamer, rode right in on him, kind of like that one. Swung at it and popped it up to third base.
Last few weeks, Will Smith has really been swinging a good bat. He's been the unsung hero for the Dodgers. Now stuck right there in the middle of the lineup. Not behind the plate, but as a DH. That's how much Dave Roberts thinks of him.
Have you ever played the game where you're sort of the role of hitter and you're guessing what pitch is coming and it's just not even close? Like that was, I figured 1-0, here's a fastball.
1-0, that should be a fastball, but another reminder, there are no fastball counts anymore.
Wow, he has evolved so much from the beginning of this game where he was that fastball pitcher going after hitters. Second time around, he knows that they're just too talented. He's really been able to get that breaking pitch over for a strike, making it that much more difficult for the hitter.
Oh, wow. Strikeout number 9. Take us through him, Eddie.
Well, early on in the game, it's all about location and velocity for Brandon Woodruff. He's been able to do all of that early on. First, look out east, out arm side, away. Then away on right-handed hitters with the heater. Get him to freeze. You can go up north with the heater also. You can get him to look at it or take it. And then here, the changeup, both the Betts and the Justin. That right there is just absolutely nasty. Plus the last breaking ball we saw there against Will Smith. When you put it in play, 1 base hit so far in the game. 3 flyouts, no ground ball outs for Brandon Woodruff.
He's doing a heck of a job getting ahead of everybody, too.
With all pitches.
Strikeout looking. He was asked about strikeouts recently. He said of the looking strikeouts, it just tells you as a pitcher, you're mixing it up really well and you've got them guessing. That's definitely a good sign.
So the other day, Garrett Cole joined Tom Seaver, only postseason pitchers ever, no walks, 13 strikeouts. Yesterday, Trevor Bauer, first postseason pitcher ever, no walks, 12 strikeouts, 0 runs. And this guy's no walks, 9 strikeouts in the 5th inning.
Trending. He's trending. It's also, Eddie, it's command of all of them, right? I mean, there's not one that he has to shelve.
It's been really good command of all of them. The 4-seam fastball, he's thrown 41% of the time in this game. He's thrown the 2-seamer, the sinker, 22% of the time. Changeup 13, slider 14. I mean, he's been able And I haven't even mentioned the curveball yet, 11% of the time. And all of them at a high percentage strike.
Bellinger reaches out, touches that one, and that's going to fall in front of Garcia for a hit.
And this is big for the Dodgers. You get Bellinger on, good speed at first base. Now Woodruff is going to have to speed up his delivery on that changeup, is able to get some wood on it.
That's right. Soft serve out into center.
That's what we call a B hack there, but you need a B hack once in a while when you see a changeup like that.
I'll take that B hack anytime.
Any day.
2.5 miles per hour off the bat with a big old smile on his face.
Well, let's see if the Dodgers, because runs are hard to come by, get a little aggressive here with Taylor up and one down. Not going, and that's a swing of somebody who didn't know exactly what was going to be thrown at him.
Chris Taylor, 392 hitter this year with runners on base, 189 with the bases empty, so this is right up his alley.
It was a start he made against the Cubs in which he threw 11 pitches late in the game, 7th inning. 6 were four-seam fastballs. David Bodie was looking at 97, Jason Hayward at 97. After the game, Lester said that dude's stuff is incredible, should be a fixture in baseball as a dominant pitcher for a long time. David Ross, that's a #1 starter, a real ace. Taylor hits one back up the middle. Bellinger to second. And all of a sudden, it feels like a rally with 2 hits.
Again, you put speed at first base. He throws over a couple times. Now he's worried about it. The curveball stays right down the middle, and Taylor just drills it right back where it came from.
All of your point, Tim, just how much better of a hitter he seems to be with the runner on. Big fella out of Mississippi.
Went to Mississippi State, like our pal Buck Showalter, and many others.
A lot of great baseball players. Mitch Moreland, Mississippi State. Clark at Mississippi State. In any event, Brandon Woodruff, the times through the order, and you look at it, 174 to 204. You know, it's up, but gosh, that's a pretty good batting average against. 264 the third time through. He's still dealing with the second time through as he's got Pollock and Austin Barnes before we turn it over to the third time through.
You know what's interesting right now is Nottingham behind the plate, because the last time when they pitched to Pollock, there was a lot of breaking pitches down in the zone. He's going to have to now be able to block it well. 2 aggressive, smart runners on the bases. They'll be looking out for that.
Here's A.J. Pollock. First pitch, strike 1. Pollock, of course, a star with the Diamondbacks that signed a 5-year, $55 million deal with the Dodgers.
Saw 5 pitches in his previous at-bat. 4 breaking pitches, 1 fastball. This time he opens him up with a fastball in the corner.
Dodgers speed on the bases, Bellinger and Taylor. Inside, 1-1. 1-2.
Good swing. 1-1. First two pitches were down. One was in. This one right above the bat path.
So what's he throw here, Eddie?
This is what's made him special. He can go either with the breaking pitch down, but again, or does he elevate with the fastball?
Two beaten on the ground. Nice play over there at third. Fires across the diamond. It's scooped and dropped. Urias threw it short, and Jed Jerko tried to scoop it but couldn't. So they only get one instead of the double play.
What a pick by Urias at third base.
Really difficult play.
Goes in. Ball hits dirt. You have to come in and charge. He does the right thing. Does everything perfect. Just did not have the arm strength on that one. Catches Jerko just in between. At least he keeps it in front of him. That ball, it could have been a lot worse, but it's a ball usually good first baseman picks it over there at first base. Let's not forget Jerko, more of a second baseman, third baseman most of his career.
There's Austin Barnes, singled his first time up. Good pitch. Right now you look at the Brewer bullpen, and Josh Hader starting to get loose. It's always a fascinating question. Like, when do you pull that card if your starter's throwing a shutout, 80 pitches almost? Looks like Hader is getting warm, and he's getting warm in a hurry.
It's an elimination game. Whatever it takes.
We posted those numbers up. The Milwaukee Brewers are well aware.
Ouch.
Yeah.
They're looking at that lineup right now, and Craig Counsell saying if Corey Seager comes up to the plate this inning, it's going to be Josh Hader on the mound.
So you want to be a manager, huh?
Not me.
0-2 to Barnes. Again, looking for a second strikeout of an inning. He's done it through the first four.
Like what Nottingham did there. Looking up and in just in case if Taylor was relaying anything, and all of a sudden he scooted down and away.
Length of that Dodger lineup, you turn it over, and you're looking at Mookie Betts. Oh, close. Very close. Didn't get the call. 2-2. K-Zone likely will not have that as a strike. It missed.
I'll tell you this, though. Quinn Walcott behind the plate. He's done a great job. He's missed a couple on Clayton Kershaw up in the zone, but besides that, he's been very consistent on both sides of the plate. Not expanding.
Eddie, that pitch was 94 miles an hour. Is that a tick down? Did he take something off of it?
That was right there, the two-seamer. That was a sinker.
Sinker
Four-seamer.
94.
Yeah.
Two-seamer.
Four-seamer was around 95.8. That one was 94.4.
This one up the middle and through. Taylor's going to come around to score, and the bottom of the order for the Dodgers gives them a 1-0 lead as Austin Barnes, second hit of the night, drives in the first run of the game.
well, we've seen Higashioka doing it for Garrett Cole offensively, and now Clayton Kershaw's catcher, personal catcher, you could say, Barnesy hitting it right back up the middle for his second hit of the game, this time doing it on a curveball, coming in at 84 miles per hour, driving in a big run for the Dodgers.
Think about the hits in this inning. You had Bellinger, who reached out, had some velocity on it, but was way off balance, served it into center, and the play at third by Urias, a higher throw or the ability of Jerko to hold on to it, and it's still 0-0. Third time now that he's going to see Betts. He struck him out twice.
And this Dodger lineup, you cannot give him that extra out.
Yeah.
Urias with that throw to first base, the pick. They make you pay for any mistake you make. Any missed opportunity, they just pounce on it.
Two balls, no strikes. Hader warm in the bullpen now. Seager on deck, the lefty. 9 strikeouts in the game for Woodruff. He was fantastic through the first out of this 5th inning. Then came the single, the fielder's choice. And then another single and an RBI for Barnes. Betts ropes. That's a fair ball down the line. That's going to bring in 1. Here comes A.J. Pollock. And rounding third and hitting home and scoring is Austin Barnes. Mookie Betts does it for the Dodgers. A double, and they lead it 3-0.
One too many sinkers, opens him up with a slider in this at-bat. After that, it was sinker, then sinker again, and Mookie Betts just too good. First time, strikes out. Second time, strikes out on the changeup. This time, makes Brandon Woodruff and the Milwaukee Brewers pay with a bases clearing double right here. Runners work first and second. Now they score, and Mookie's celebrating.
Mookie 405 this year with runners on base.
Brandon Woodruff was fantastic until the 5th inning, and the depth of the Dodgers offense got to him. 3-0 LA. Hader coming in.
In the studio, time now for tonight's Wild Card Roundup, brought to you by Coors Light. Padres force a Game 3 versus the Cardinals after its win, with Fernando Tatis Jr. and Will Myers each with 2 home runs. The only other pair of teammates to accomplish that in a playoff game, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig in the 1932 World Series, Ravi, 88 years ago to the day.
Incredible. Thanks, Brick. Good number there. Josh Hader is on. Mookie Betts, difference maker for the Dodgers, huh? Big double, knocked in 2, sent Woodruff to the bench. You see Hader's numbers, and again, on a team in which Evan Williams established himself as the best reliever, like unhittable stuff. That's with Josh Hader on the same team. Evan Williams, who's unavailable, struck out 53 of the 100 guys he faced.
And allowed 1 earned run.
And allowed 1 earned run.
And they went 2 for 62 against his changeup, which spins so fast it'll cut your shirt.
Oh. You do these games, you do the 2 games a day, but you just think about some of the plays that have been the difference makers. The Bregman play in game 1 that he made, how important that was. And you got a play here in the game that's not made, and just how important that is. just different. It was just different when you saw Mookie standing there with his bat as the next guy up. Woodruff was showing some vulnerability, and you got to go face him for the third time. Seager gone 96 miles an hour as Josh Hader enters and exits with a strikeout. But the inning and perhaps the game in a nutshell. Urias with a great fielding play, but the throw short hop Jerko couldn't end the inning. And then it was Austin Barnes delivering the big hit, and then the bigger one from number 50, Mookie Betts. Dodgers 3-zip, trying to clinch the series.
Want to stay up to date? Just tell Siri, show me the MLB postseason schedule.
Dodger Stadium, Mookie Betts, his third double of this series, has given Clayton Kershaw now a 3-0 lead. Avisail Garcia leads things off. The question, of course, against the Dodgers and a rested bullpen, where will the Brewers muster 3 runs to tie it? Where does that come from? Yelich?
Well, it's going to have to come from him. Again, this was not a good offensive team. They hit .223 as a team this year. Again, Ravi, they were not over 500 at any point of this season. No team's ever gone to the playoffs having never been over 500 for even one day.
Kershaw continues to pitch well. He picks up strikeout number 8 and the third of this game of Garcia.
Yeah, Avi has not been able to figure him out the entire evening. 3 strikeouts against Clayton Kershaw. This time does it with all 3 pitches, the fastball, the curveball, and then you saw right there the slider at 87.8 miles per hour.
And now Yelich, a strikeout and a fly out to center field.
Again, Yelich swung at the first pitch 13% of the time. He's taken so much, and again, behind in the count already against a great pitcher.
As Clayton has been very economical. Top of the 6th inning, just 1 out already, 65 pitches.
One and two. So Dave Roberts opts to use Walker Buehler in game 1. There was some thought about game 3. Kershaw will give you length, which he's doing. Obviously, you would be able to rest your bullpen if there were to be a game 3. But as far as building confidence and helping a postseason resume, it's a good lineup for Kershaw to face. Now he's pitching with a lead, and that's the type of swings he's getting tonight. Yelich, the 9th strikeout of the night for Clayton Kershaw.
Just absolutely sick right here again. This is Clayton Kershaw at his best. Continues to do real well. See the curveball. No chance for Yelly. Changing the eye location on him. Milwaukee Brewer hitters have made contact 19 times out of the 67 pitches that he's had. I'm including the foul balls in all of this. There hasn't been one ball hit above 100 miles per hour.
I think it's safe to say Yelich was the best hitter in the National League 2018 and 19, and Kershaw makes him look like that. That's how great his stuff has been tonight.
This, in a lot of ways, been a very challenging season for Yelich. And clearly, he's been affected by not having the fans in the stands, a lack of supporting cast around him, but it has never felt right for Yelich this year. He's one of those guys that would tell you 60 games isn't enough. It's just not close to being enough. Remember, we'd be still looking at another 100 games.
And that's why I'm hesitant to throw out these, this is what happened this year, because we're not even halfway through a normal season. Dusty Baker used to tell us, took me 50 games to get anything going.
Right.
Carl Furillo, one of the great slow starters, then figured it out later.
Mark Teixeira tells us all the time. Kershaw, strut off the mound. Double-digit strikeouts. He strikes out the side in the 6th. Garcia, Yelich, and Jerko.
3 batters faced, 3 strikeouts. Struck out the side.
We have never done October like this before, and that means anything can happen. MLB has got you covered on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as the division series begin to take shape following this wild card series. The Cubs and Marlins didn't play today, so they've only played one. A whole host of others have been wrapping up. Justin Turner, first pitch from Josh Hader, center field, then quickly one man out. So Brandon Woodruff out of the game after the Betts double. And he was upset that this pitch was not called a strike. Again, K-Zone didn't have it as a strike, but it didn't go as a strike. And as a result of that and some of the other things that happened, including the Betts double, you understand why Brandon Woodruff would be angry. He got in it, and while he was thrown out, he also made a motion to throw out Quinn Wilcott, the home plate umpire. So frustration for sure for Woodruff and the Brewers. He was ejected from the game.
The umpire got the call right.
That was a ball. Meanwhile, on the other side, Clayton Kershaw is pitching a masterpiece tonight. 10 strikeouts. No real threat from the Brewers as Hader fires one in there to even it up 1-1 against Max Muncy.
Asking Hader to do something that he hasn't done in the regular season at all, and that's come in 3-run deficit in the bottom of the 5th inning and to end it out, and now the 6th, and they're going to ride him as long as he can. Try to stay as economical, and Justin Turner helped him out with that first pitch, but I wonder how quickly Hader will run out of gas.
Giving some time for Nottingham, who was shaken up after that ball pop out of his glove. Ouch, that one hurt him too.
That one hurt the thumb.
Yep.
It's hard just catching this guy. His stuff is so violent.
Oh. He's feeling it.
And your thumb right back.
Tim, one of the 100 reasons why I never put that gear on.
Jeff Torborg, former catcher, once said, there's got to be a reason why we're the only ones facing the other way. It's for reasons like that.
Looks like Jake Nottingham is obviously coming out of the game. He dropped a pitch 2 pitches prior. Perhaps it was then exacerbated, or just a second part of that hand was injured. Terrific young man, a catcher for the Brewers, very involved in the fight against ALS and Lou Gehrig's disease. That's the one that he couldn't catch, and that's the one where you can see he's in pain already. Max Muncy gave him some breathing room.
Ice cold Bud Light, seltzer hip. Bay windows, got 2. Nice tuck pointing hip. Retractable awning here, like it. Got the nice edging on the grass here. Edge the grass nice hip. Ice cold Bud Light, seltzer hip. Got a white breasted nut hatch hip.
So Omar Narvaez is going to come on and catch Hader here in the bottom of the 6th inning with the Dodgers leading 3-0. Just quickly, Kershaw has been so efficient tonight. He's thrown first pitch strikes to all but 2 batters. His 6th career 10 strikeout game in the postseason, which is second most all-time behind Verlander. So Kershaw has 6th, Verlander 7, and his first since 2017.
And again, 6 starts in his career with a chance to clinch 1-0 with a 1.50 and another brilliant effort so far.
3-1 to Muncy. Hader fires away after falling behind 3-1 and picks up a strikeout of Max Muncy.
Eddie, you hit left-handers really well. What would your approach be for this guy?
First, I pray, and seriously, I would pray for a fastball. I would want, and I'd try to cheat up in the zone against him. You see a lot of swing and misses underneath that fastball. I give him the slider. You want to throw it for strikes, go for it. I'll challenge you to do that. But I am looking dead red up in the zone.
And there's that slider that probably started somewhere in the left-hander's batter's box and ended up pretty much in the right-hander's batter's box.
No more than that, Will.
And one thing that Josh Hader's been able to do this year is use that slider well. Again, the fastball has been down a couple notches, still very effective from the angle where he throws it. But you want to be able to hit the number 1.
That ball is down the left field line and just foul. Look, the Brewers were a decided underdog against the Dodgers, even when healthy. But when you handicap them without Burns, without Brett Anderson, and you remove Devin Williams, Vegas odds would have you close to 2%.
Right. Well, it's the greatest disparity in the history of the postseason in winning percentage between two teams, .234 difference. And it should be even bigger than that when Williams went down and Corbin Burns went down. In a lot of ways, this is not a fair fight. And the Brewers just hang in there.
3-2. That one will be fair. It will be playable. As Pollock flies out to Yelich. Hader keeps it close. It's 3-zip.
Clayton Kershaw's been dynamic, and it's been with that slider. He's used it and used it often. 8 strikeouts so far with the slider. You see the right-handed hitters, no chance. 2 of them coming with the curveball, both to Christian Yelich. But my goodness, you see how he's able to use it. You keep him off balance with the fastball, throwing it 35% of the time. The rest of the time, he's been using that slider and curveball at a high rate, efficient rate, 80% strikes with the slider this evening.
Second most all-time, we mentioned, behind Verlander with 7. And if this continues, this is going to go down as one of the great Kershaw postseason performances.
And he's had a few, Ravi.
No doubt
about that.
Yeah.
The problem has always been from the 7th inning on. His career ERA in the postseason from the 7th inning on is 12.27, which stands to reason. He's gassed at 7 a lot of times, but that's been the problem. And again, 1 out in the 7th here, no problem.
Take a look at StatCast. It's powered by Google Cloud. 59% of the breaking balls in 2020. Dinelson Lamet, the injured Padre starter, 53%. So curveballs and sliders. Rich Hill, Mike Clevenger. In a world of power, there are other ways to skin the cat.
Again, he's used that curveball more this year than any time since he was 20 years old, his rookie year.
Orlando Arcia helps him out by swinging at the first pitch, and he hits it right to A.J. Pollock. 2 quick outs in the 7th.
Robbie, it does speak to the beauty of baseball. His career ERA is 2 runs lower in the regular season than it is in the postseason. Tim Wakefield's the only other pitcher, 10 or more postseason starts, to have an ERA that much higher in the postseason than in the regular season, and just speaks to the degree of difficulty of this game.
I would imagine that most ERAs go up in the postseason. You're playing better teams.
Of course.
But the disparity is not that great. The difference is that he is a great pitcher. You know, the other great pitchers, the Pedros and the Smoltz, the Andy Pettits of whoever they may be in the postseason, all the Braves pitchers from the 90s, their numbers weren't egregiously different. He's as good as those guys are.
Greg Maddux, who's as good a pitcher as we've ever seen, was 11-14 in his postseason career. Tom Glavine, first ballot Hall of Famer, 14-16 in his postseason career. Justin Verlander, 14-11. I mean, in the NBA, when LeBron has a bad game, he in the postseason he goes 18-6-5. But here you have a bad game, and you could really look bad. That's the beauty of this sport. The best players aren't great every single night.
He's been great tonight, though. Clayton Kershaw, 11 strikeouts, curveballs and sliders. Filthy. And what a big boost to the Dodgers as they try to win their first World Series since '88. He can pitch like that. Hope you're enjoying the Wild Card Series on ESPN. We welcome you back to the 2020 Wild Card Series presented by Hankook Tire. Historic day the other day when we had eight games on. Scheduled for 5 today, but we lost the Cubs and the Marlins. And a new pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, Adrian Hauser. He struggled down the stretch here late. And Hader's night is over as we play the bottom of the 7th inning. Cody Bellinger got it all started in that 5th inning, in which he reached out on a changeup and was able to serve it into center field. It seemed to unravel the Brewers slightly, and Woodruff, that was the first sign of any trouble. The inning, Mookie Betts had a 2 RBI double, and all 3 runs for the Dodgers came in. Central Division struggled a little bit here in the postseason, and yet we had a variety of teams from the Central Division. Anything you glean from that? I mean, the Reds were a really good team. Their offense was down. The Brewers obviously are beaten up a little bit. White Sox.
Well, the Reds hit .212 as a team. Cubs hit 220 as a team. Brewers hit 223 as a team. So maybe they were just a little down offensively, all three of those teams. Ravi, the Reds had more walks than singles this year. No team has ever had more walks than singles in a season. Again, it's only a 60-game season. That's pretty weird.
I'm going to get my sister-in-law to make a shirt that says, granted, it's only a 60-game season. Because we all say it a lot. And again, we see all these numbers and I'm not just saying you, Tim. I say it a lot. Carl, everyone does. At the end of the day, they look at the calendar and they see October, and I thought if it was the Reds who had really improved their team offensively in the offseason, I thought they were going to be better once the postseason started. That wasn't true. The Atlanta Braves pitching, especially their starting pitching, took off.
Second baseman, Chris Taylor.
Want to stay up to date during the postseason? Hey Siri, show me postseason baseball scores.
I agree with you, Eddie. I thought Houston was going to be the team that had the possibility to do that, just given that they had, to me, underachieved this year. So that when you got to a second season in which they've shined recently, they would turn it on. And look, I get that we've only seen them play twice, but they pitched really well, and they had enough timely hitting. So that I hear what you're saying. The other thing that you could put on the back of that T-shirt is, well, for this year. That has to do with every rule change and expanded playoffs. Everybody will say, I like it for this year. And I think we all probably are in agreement that several of the changes we've seen are going to stay.
I agree with that.
As Taylor bounces one into right, Tyrone Taylor picks it up. And for the first time, we're going to see Jock Peterson come to the plate. Bat for A.J. Pollock.
And I'll add on to the well for this year, because most likely next year it won't be 8 teams, it'll be 7 with the best record getting a bye. I'm just happy that it was Tampa Bay Rays that with the best record in the American League, they're moving on. And probably now we're looking at 6 more outs for the Dodgers to also move on to the next round, having the best 2 records in each division, getting through the wild card.
Weird. I hear what you're saying, because there was that idea that in a 3-game, let alone a 1-game, but in a 3-game, you run the risk of, while we like to see upsets, when you move to the next round or 2, you're not left with the best teams. That hasn't proven itself to be something this year that's going to pan out. The Cubs have their hands full with the Marlins.
So, Ravi, Jock Peterson has 5 postseason homers at Dodger Stadium. That ties Steve Garvey for the second most homers hit in the postseason at Dodger Stadium. Number 1 is Reggie Jackson, who didn't ever play for the Dodgers.
You think Reggie knows that?
He tried to get into the clubhouse in Cleveland one day, and he didn't have his ID, and the guy said, "What's your name?" And he goes, "What's my name? I'm Reggie Jackson." He said, "How do you spell that?" And he went, M-R-O-C-T-O-B-E-R. That's how you spell it.
Mr. October?
So classic Reggie Jackson.
Exactly.
How do you spell it?
So with the universal DH, and in a lot of ways, Peterson reminds me of Schwarber. Like they don't, and especially on this team, there's really not a position to play. You bring Betts in, sign Pollock to a big deal. They love Chris Taylor. Like, what do you do with Jock Peterson? Do you keep him here because he is a good hitter? Gets into a double play there. Where is his position? We've had that conversation for years about Schwarber. Peterson off the bench into a double play. We're heading to the 8th. You watch Clayton Kershaw while I read this, because he's way better than what I'm about to say. In any event, the Wild Card Series presented by Hankook Tire, never halfway. And in part by USAA, proud supporter of the military community. What you're made of, we're made for. Putting together a masterpiece. His most strikeouts in a postseason game is 12. He needs one more for that. That was in a division series game in 2013. So the National League bracket, the Dodgers are going to get the winner of the Padres-Cardinals series. Cardinals bullpen ERA in the game tonight was 17.6. 17-6. Marlins and the Cubs, it's Miami 1-0, so Friday at 2 Eastern on ABC. Although I believe that game could change. Is that right, or is that always going to be at 2 Eastern time on ABC? I have to check on that.
I think it was going to go to 7 o'clock if it was the only game tomorrow, but it's not because the Cardinals are playing the Padres.
Chris Taylor moves to left field. Kike Hernandez at second base. Kershaw, first pitch. Another strike. I've seen Tyrone Taylor lose his helmet a few times. 81 pitches into the 8th inning.
I don't know what's better, Clayton Kershaw and his Hankook commercial, or what he's doing this evening.
Eduardo, when's the last time you saw this guy this good? I mean, he's so good all the time, but...
That's number 12 on the strikeout meter for Clayton Kershaw tonight, matching his postseason high.
And it's been the slider. The slider has been absolutely filthy to the right-handed hitters. They know it's coming, and yet they can't hit it. You see that late break. You commit to it. He keeps you honest with the fastball on the inside part of the plate, throwing it for 83% of the time for strikes. 40 overall, 33 strikes on the slider.
So yesterday, Trevor Bauer became the first pitcher in the history of the postseason to have a start with no runs, no walks, and 12 strikeouts. And that's where Kershaw is right now. So it had never happened, and now potentially could happen 2 days in a row.
Kershaw has 2 scoreless postseason starts entering tonight, the 2016 Division Series Game 2. He went 7 innings. And a couple of years ago in the Division Series, 2018, he went 8 innings. But neither of those had 10 strikeouts. And does a game like this end the conversation, or do you then qualify it with, well, it wasn't a World Series game?
Well, in today's media, he's going to have to win the World Series and pitch really well in it for us to completely leave this alone, which is unfair. But I repeat, no pitcher has ever pitched in 10 postseasons without winning a World Series. Mike Messina pitched in 9 postseasons and never won the World Series. Kershaw's 9, never won the World Series. This is 10 tonight.
Right. Wow, a walk for Clayton Kershaw. And that is the first walk he has issued tonight to go with the 12 strikeouts. You saw Brewstar Graterol warming in the bullpen.
And actually, Luis Urias has been the guy that's had the best at-bats against Clayton Kershaw. He's also the only guy that stands so far away from the plate And Kershaw's been trying to pound him in, but anything in is way off. Already had a single, hard shot, ground ball at second. Kershaw smiling on the mound.
Nope, that means you stay there. I'm good. You stay right where you are. I've earned it.
Mark Pryor just going up to the mound, the pitching coach for the Dodgers.
Roy Halladay came off the mound once, 8th inning. They were going to take him out. And he looked at Charlie Manuel like, no chance. Manuel looked at the pitching coach and said, I'm not taking him out. It's what great pitchers command.
David Freitas will bat. Remember, Nottingham got hurt. Narvaez came in to catch. Now David Freitas will bat.
That's why you need 3 catchers. And the Twins used 4 catchers in our game the other day.
Tied 2-1. No swing.
Most pitches that Clayton Kershaw threw this season was on September 14th. 99 pitches. Also did the same thing 2 weeks before that on the 3rd. 99 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right now, 91 pitches. Dave Roberts most likely thinking this is the last inning for Clayton.
Well, what you have to be careful of is, you put another guy on in a 3-0 game, and you're bringing Avisail Garcia up with Christian Yelich on deck.
Yeah, but between those two guys, you have 5 strikeouts. Avi hasn't even been able to figure out Clayton yet.
Got him leaning. Did he get him? He got him. Called out is Urias. Not a strikeout, but an out for Clayton Kershaw on a pickoff.
That right there cannot happen. Even if they reverse it or not, if they check it, it can't even be close at first base. It's 3-0. This is top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, I think he's out. That right hand is not in.
First basemen are now taught. They're taught now not to go after the hand, just go after the body, because the replay will take care of the rest. Umpires before used to, you can only look at one spot. You can't have your eye if it's on the body while the hand's coming to the bag. This time I think it was an easy call at first base. But good job right there by Max Muncy placing the tag. He's out.
He's out. That's the second out. We can cue the. You don't even need to say it anymore. We should just have it like on a cart, and we just fire the cart.
T-shirt again.
I've covered baseball for 40 years, Ravi. This is the worst base running I have ever seen. I got texts from 5 former players yesterday. 5. They all said this is the worst base running they've ever seen. How was that?
You said it exactly the way I was going to say it, and it's all true. We had the Twins the other day. Byron Buxton, a pinch runner, got picked off in the 8th inning of a 1-run elimination game. This can't happen. You can't give Clayton Kershaw another out.
They did, and then it's a 1-pitch and a strikeout. Clayton Kershaw will walk off the mound with 13 strikeouts, having allowed 3 hits and no runs. Postseason problems, rearview mirror. High fives all around for Clayton Kershaw as we take a look at Game Track. It's brought to you by Geico. An outstanding pitching performance from somebody who had the reputation of struggles in the postseason. The numbers certainly support it, but he about-faced on all the numbers tonight. His 6th career 10 strikeout game in the postseason. He's had 6 of those, 13 strikeouts tonight. He was aided by Mookie Betts, his new teammate, who had a big 2-run RBI double in the 5th. And job well done for Clayton Kershaw this evening. Like really well done.
So again, we're 3 days into the postseason. We've had a no-walk 13 strikeout game, a no-walk 12 strikeout game, and a 1-walk 13 strikeout game.
After the game at SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt, they will have wild card post-game reaction. Clayton Kershaw will join SVP. Well, the injured Heat Stars, their Game 2 status for Bam Adebayo is walking off, rubbing his shoulder, and you got to worry about LeBron and that big guy that plays for the Lakers. It's going to be a problem. College football's Week 5 winners, that's coming up with SVP as soon as we exit stage left. Grant Hauser pitching again to Mookie Betts, ball 1. So huge series. How about the Yankees and the Rays? And the system in itself worked because the Yankees stumbled so badly down the stretch that they played themselves into the seed that brings you into the upper bracket. If they were the 2, 3, or 4, they don't have to worry about that. But they went to the 5th, and now they got to deal with the Rays. And I'm sure the Rays aren't delighted about it either, given the way the Yankees were hitting.
Rays 8-2 against the Yankees this year, and the last time we saw those two teams, Kevin Cash's parting remark was, I got a bullpen full of guys who could throw 98 miles an hour. Yikes.
It's going to be interesting this time around. You have a healthy Aaron Judge. And Carlos Stanton swung the bat. 2 home runs against the Indians. You have, again, Aaron Hicks in center field. LeMahieu continues to swing the bat. Just a healthier team right now. It's going to be facing the Rays, and the Rays are just a complete team from top to bottom. They've had their injuries, too, in that bullpen.
True. And given all the injuries, it is somewhat remarkable. I don't know why Kevin Cash doesn't get more attention for what he does. They had a whole boatload of injuries in their bullpen. He managed to make it work. In a lot of ways, it's similar to, it almost feels like a Little League team that from California where they parade guys out in the final game. You haven't seen them pitch. Like all the guys come out of the bullpen and they're throwing, 99 miles an hour. Anderson is a joke.
So the Yankees are the only team ever to score 22 runs in the first 2 games of any postseason series, and the first team ever to hit 7 homers in the first 2 games of any postseason series. That's the team that's going to play the Rays. And they did it against the Indian staff.
Right. The first game with Shane Bieber on the mound was over before it started. I mean, that game was over so early. DJ LeMahieu is to the Yankees like what Betts is. He is so calm and comes up and delivers the big hit time after time after time. So Mookie Betts gets the big hit tonight. Who's the MVP of the Dodgers? Because this guy's had an unbelievable season.
I think Mookie Betts is the MVP of the Dodgers, and I think he's certainly a top 5 MVP in the National League, but this guy was great too.
I think the MVP of the Dodgers is Dave Roberts for acknowledging that this guy right here should be the leadoff hitter. Because everyone took off after Mookie Betts and then Seager in the 1-2 spot. They started doing their things. Everybody else just settled down. And it wasn't a great year for Max Muncy. It wasn't a great year for Bellinger. Yet their pitching and their athleticism and their ability to hit a fastball stands out.
So, Ravi, they're the first team since the 1944 Cardinals to lead the major leagues in homers and the major leagues in ERA in the same season. And they've led the American League in homers and ERA 3 years in a row. Dodgers, sorry, the National League.
Yep.
The last time any team did that 3 years ago was the Yankees, 1936 through 39, DiMaggio's first 4 years. So just shows you when you can hold them to fewer runs and hit a bunch of homers, that's a great combination.
Justin Turner, that's in there for a strike one. All right, so here's some history for you. The Dodgers with more than 12 strikeouts in a postseason game. Carl Erskine in the 1953 World Series, Sandy Koufax, game 1 of the 63 series, and Clayton Kershaw tonight. More than 12 in a postseason game. Clayton Kershaw ended up with 13 tonight. He's on every list that the Dodgers have historically, but he's added his name to that one now.
This year, postseason for him is going to be a lot different. He's going to continue to dominate. His arm's fresher. Not a lot of innings under his belt. His back feels good.
And they're not going to pitch him in relief.
He held the bag. They're going to call Turner out. Jerko held it. That's the third out. Tap him. We'll see first our Graterol when we come back as the Dodgers look to take the next step. Brandon Woodruff was lights out for most of the game, and it felt like he could get through the 5th inning, and you get to Hader, you got a real chance. Clayton Kershaw matched him strikeout for strikeout, and in the long game, Kershaw ended up winning out because of that guy, Mookie Betts. A double down the line, played at 2 in a 3-run 5th inning. That's all the scoring that's been done in this game. Betts' third double of this wild card series, and Kershaw's night is over. And it is a great night for Clayton Kershaw and Los Angeles. 13 strikeouts, no runs. So this postseason alone, there have been 3 12 strikeout games, which ties for the most in any single postseason. We're in the wild card round. We haven't seen the other rounds.
We've played for 3 days. Meanwhile, Graterol comes in. His first pitch is 101. Second pitch is 100.
Major League Baseball wants to honor, remember, and thank the frontline heroes who continue to lift up their fellow citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The season started, the COVID-19 pandemic was the biggest conversation piece. Whether we were going to, as a sport, be able to get through the first couple of weeks, let alone 60 games. And now that all the teams are in their bubbles and the teams from the National League will go to American League cities, Houston and Texas, and the American League teams are in San Diego and Los Angeles, they're getting closer to completing this 2020 season. So you're looking at Brusdar Graterol and all his velocity. Last night, Kenley Jansen closed the game down. During the Zoom call today, Eduardo asked Dave Roberts, you had somebody warming up when Kenley was on the mound. And after the game, there were some questions about the effectiveness of Kenley Jansen. Alden Gonzalez rejoins us. Been great all night with the information. What is the plan moving forward? Tight game? Is there no doubt that Jansen gets the ball, or is this still, even as we enter the next round of the postseason, a question?
Well, Dave Roberts was asked that specifically before the game. He said that Kenley Jansen is his closer. He also sort of hinted that he might be down today because of his workload yesterday. But look, Dave Roberts after the game yesterday expressed some pretty honest concern about Kenley Jansen. He said that his stuff lacked, quote, teeth. And he also prefaced that he needed to go back and watch the video. When he spoke again today, he was a lot more optimistic about what he saw. I don't know if that's completely honest or if at least part of it is just sort of giving Kenley some confidence moving forward, because obviously they're going to need him. But what I can tell you is that, as you said, Bruce Dog Gratterall was warming up in the 9th inning yesterday because Kenley Jansen was throwing his cutter 86 miles an hour a couple of times, and that was alarming. And also that before the game, Kenley Jansen was sort of working on syncing up his delivery, which tends to waver for him because he's a big guy. A lot of times his upper half and his lower half don't get synced up properly. So we'll see. I mean, we're going to know more moving forward when it's a closer situation, when he's not coming off the outing that he did yesterday, whether he truly believes in Kenley Jansen.
Gratterall allowed the first man to reach. Good hustle by Christian Yelich. How about that? Christian Yelich in a 3-0 game in the 9th inning in an effort to prevent a double play bust down the line, and only one out.
Tell you what, he better. He better, because, again, you're just a bloop and a blast from tying this thing, and he knows it. And most likely, they might check this one out again. But he gets down that line. There's still a lot of pride in Christian Yelich. He's hit the ball hard this season. Not much to show for it. I think he's safe from that angle.
Yep.
But still, he's going to play the game the right way every time he takes the field.
Really close. I think there's not enough evidence to overturn it. And it's a big base runner. You get a walk here at a blast, and just like that, we're tied. The umpires put the headsets on.
I got him safe.
I do too. That foot's there, and that ball, I understand the ball now just has to be in the glove. It doesn't have to be the back of the glove, but it's not even in, and that foot's down. Right there.
Now, if they would have called him out, I think it would have stood too. So this one's going to go, as you explained earlier.
Yelich, wildly popular in California. He does so much for the community there. He started the California Strong, which allows those that are affected by natural disasters and other tragedies to benefit from immediate financial assistance.
Oh, wow.
So I guess they appealed a second base play. They called him out at second to confirm that, and then safe at first. So one down.
Hitter number 21, Daniel Vogelbach.
So they're going to let Vogie hit Daniel Vogelbach. Talk about power on power. You got Gratterall, who throws about 101, and Vogelbach, who hasn't met a fastball he's not too fond of. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Victor Gonzalez and Blake Trinan, who's got closing experience. Trinan, number 49, warming on the right. 0-2. That misses.
Rick Council forced to use Vogelbach in this situation and not for Ryan Healy, who's on deck, because by that time, Gratterall already had faced 3 hitters and he could have taken him out.
This one is playable. Chris Taylor, the second out. It was Gratterall who had those medical concerns during the Mookie Betts trade, and the Red Sox said we don't really trust the medicals. They didn't take them, so the Dodgers ended up with Gratterall, who throws, as we've seen, 100 miles an hour. The Red Sox passed on him. Pryor out, perhaps to give a little scouting report on Ben Gamble. Dodgers win. They will get the winner of the Padres Cardinals series. Adam Wainwright started that game. Talk about another team devastated by injuries, the Padres.
Nelson Lamet, Mike Clevenger.
In both cases of the Brewers, you minimize their great advantage, which was their bullpen when you take Devin Williams out. For the Padres, you minimize the 2 really good starters, and Clevenger, who they dealt for, and Lamet. Which advances to second with 0 effort of the Dodgers to stop it. The night belonged to Clayton Kershaw. Strike 2. Scott Van Pelt up next, and we hope to get a chance to hear from Clayton Kershaw after what was a masterpiece performance. This should do it. Taylor says, "I got it." Kershaw gets a win, and the Dodgers advance. They win the wild card series, taking both games from the Milwaukee Brewers. An outstanding effort. 13 strikeouts from Clayton Kershaw tonight, to at least silence the critics who claim he hasn't done it in the postseason enough. Was that enough for you?
That's plenty for me. That was amazing.
Eddie, how would you describe it?
Oh, he's well rested. He's in shape. He's in mid-season form. Clayton Kershaw's got a lot left in the tank. We're about to see it in the next round.
Brewers advance. Cardinals and Padres still got a game to play as the wild card series begins to wrap. With Tim Kirchin, Eduardo Perez, producer Andy Jacobson, our entire crew, I'm Carl Ravitz. Thanks for watching and enjoy SVP.